What I want to do? Beat ballers, shot callers,
Yeah.
brawlers.
Okay.
Dipping in the bins with the.
Yeah. Okay. You listen to Poetically Correct. We're poetically in Rome. If you don't like it, then you need to go back home. See, this is us on the mic, and yes, we coming for the best. And matter of fact, we coming to give you out. Dang, I fucked it up. I was trying to freestyle it, but I couldn't. But we're gonna freestyle at the end. This is Poetically Correct.
Yeah. What
Yes.
up? What up? What up?
Yes.
It's your boy Rome DeCarlo.
Okay, Rome.
It's Poetic Lead.
Yeah.
We out here, man.
We out here. Hey, that's a fresh ass hat. I be seeing you wear it all the time.
Shout out to Tamika Staley. I saw her at Word of Mouth. Shout out to Dumpin' SWAT.
Yeah.
Love on purpose.
Yeah, shout out to Dumpin' SWAT though, because that's like one of the places now that we can like perform poetry in Charlotte now.
Hell yeah. I was saying this the other day, man. I feel like we getting back, man. Like, there's mad events going on.
Yeah.
This week, I mean, daggone, we had.
It was a whole week.
Yeah.
It was a week full of
Yes.
different events going on.
Shout out Eclectic Soul. Shout out Release Therapy. Shout out Word of Mouth. Shout out Touch One Thursdays. Shout out Lifeline Poetry, Hymns and Metaphors, the Queen City Awards.
Mm-hmm.
It's going on, man. There's some stuff going on. I'm with it.
Yeah, what's up with the forum? That's what the people,
Shout out to
that's
the
what
forum.
the people want to know.
So
What's
we
up
are
with
in the
forum?
process of booking the event for the next show.
Okay.
Stay tuned. It's going to
Okay.
be early 2018. It's going to be live.
Okay, and if you don't know what the forum is, Rome DiCarlo, Lauren Schiller have combined to create something magical where it's
Yes.
breakdancing, where
Yes.
it's ciphers,
Yes.
poetry ciphers, rap performances, sing R&B performances, art, but painted live painters, vendors. It's really dope. It's fresh.
Yeah, man.
It brings out the art scene.
That's what we are, man. We're just trying to provide platforms, man.
Yes.
That's it. So
Yes. And what else we had going on? This week, I don't know. We got you already talked about the events happening.
yeah, and man, big shout out to
'Cause it's about to be Christmas. So.
Poetically Correct though, because this show, man, I feel like it's getting real lit. You know what I mean?
It is. No, it is. And it is. Shout out to everybody that follows on Instagram because that's where it gets lit at.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we appreciate it. And soon, I ain't looked at the Facebook.
Yeah, look at Facebook.
No,
I gotta look at that too.
Yeah, but it's a Poetically Correct Facebook. That stuff gets posted on.
Hey.
I never look at it, so I don't know. So shout out to the Facebook people too. So
Yeah.
you know.
I don't ever look at the Facebook page myself, so like,
Yeah.
I don't.
You have a Facebook page for yourself?
I do, but I don't never like on Instagram. You can just add it to the page.
Yeah.
So I just do that. I never check it.
Yeah,
So
I'm bad with Facebook.
I don't really think to.
And you know, it's key. It's key because as an artist, you need to have these platforms
True.
where you can advertise yourself, where you can promote yourself, where you can brand yourself, of course, where people can get to you because you have, you want to touch different demographics. Plus, even within your own demographic, they may not be all in one place. Like I'm not on Twitter, so I may not see all your stuff that you're posting on Twitter. So that's why it's kind of good to be here and there. But I always say, find one that you can master. You know. That's why I found one. Instagram, I can master Instagram. If you can master one, it's good to have real estate here, but you still want one home that you got a bed in.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It's good to have 5 different homes, but what you got is it should be at least one home that you live in, that you take care of, that you constantly, maintaining.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. That's good, bruh. Where you be coming up with this stuff? Reflect, revise, refresh. You gotta have multiple real estates, but one gotta have a bed in it.
But because I look at it, when it comes to your brand, I mean, it's just like anything else. It's about marking your territory.
Okay.
Social media is all about marking your territory. It's so much, especially when you have the different platforms, especially when it's free. You're telling me now compared to 20 years ago, not even 20 years ago. Let's just say 15 years ago, 10 years ago adjacent, really, because we're on that edge now, but 10 to 12 years ago, where you still had to get out in the streets, you still had to travel just to touch your fan base. Look, a lot of artists, of course, you may not get love home, right? So you have to travel 8 hours, 10 hours away just to get love somewhere. Or maybe you have to travel across the states just to find that demographic of who your audience is. Now you're telling me I can just post something online and I can hashtag Neo Soul. And I get all the Neo Soul people.
Yeah.
Come on now. I can just hashtag, Freestyle Friday. And everybody that's into a freestyle can find me. And then I keep doing it with consistency. Boom, 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 boom. And now look at you, blown up.
Got a crowd. You got a following, and you ain't even had to go nowhere really.
You didn't have to go. You know what's crazy? I was thinking about this the other night. I was performing in Winston, and I'm like, I'll put a video on Instagram, get 60 views, you know, within that time span.
Yeah.
You go to a show, it may not even be 60 people there.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
So
you know, it's just,
you got to add the people that's in the room plus the people that's watching.
Yeah.
That's your total audience.
yeah, think about that though. You know what I'm saying? Think about that as an artist, that impact that you can create just instantly like that, just putting content out there. You put something out there, it's 100 views. You put something out there, it's 1,000 views. A view. And so I had to look up to, and this is, we're going to get, as a matter of fact, we're going to get into some topics today that need to be discussed.
Okay.
This is a poetry podcast. As poets, we cut the layer and go deeper than where things just lie on top.
Absolutely.
You know,
that's what we're here for.
Exactly. Within the ice, there's water.
Bruh.
You know. So we want to get into the water.
Is this been a philosopher or something? Like,
I'm just saying you want to get into the water.
You're right.
Yes.
I'm here for that.
That's
Let's
what she
do it.
said. But and I just had to. It was there. But oh no, quickly back on social media real quick, because this is key right here. I had to look up what's the algorithm of Instagram. How do they work this stuff? 'Cause I'm like, what's a view, right?
Yeah.
Is it just somebody just passes along? How long does something work? So there's actually a website, I can post it too, that breaks down how many seconds, what counts as a view on YouTube, what counts as a view on Facebook, all these different platforms. So it's really cool. So what counts as a view on Instagram is 3 seconds.
Okay.
So if somebody watches your video for 3 seconds, they don't have to watch it longer than that. But 3 seconds, it counts as a view. And someone would say, well, why do I need to know that? I think it's just key. So why do you need to know that?
Because it tells you what the attention span is or what you need to hook somebody long enough for.
Exactly. What you need to hook somebody long enough for. That lets me know how I need to refine my videos. That means that opening 3 seconds needs to be fire.
Yeah.
Not only just the cover photo, which is key, because you know you can make the cover photo one thing, and that's why I used to think, oh, let me make the cover photo something enticing. But now I know it's 3 seconds, because I would wonder why on some videos it wouldn't be, the views wouldn't be like that because of the intro, right? They may see that. I'm thinking, okay, let me show them the tight cover photo, but it's really the intro, because I'm using let's say for Poetically Correct, the show right here, I had the intro with our picture right there, right? Yeah. But once I removed that, the views went up, and I'm like, and I'm just and bless you,
thank you,
and I'm just showing and it just gets straight to the video, it gets straight to the action, no cover photo introducing the action. It was.
Bro, okay, I gotta remember that. That's helpful, man. Shout out to Poetically doing research, man. For real.
I think we got to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If we want to be, we got to know how we can pinpoint our audience, how we can grab their attention, how we can really pull them in. So
yeah, you gotta know the rules of the game to figure out how you're gonna play it, right? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like like a star basketball player figuring out how to manipulate the rules so he can get the call. Yeah. So that's dope, man. That type of research definitely, I feel like empowers everybody to do a better job of what they're trying to get at, which is what we're here for. All day, every day, and tomorrow.
Yes. And so with that being said, I think it's key though, because we want to build our audience. Like I said, social media is the platform where you can attack your people. You can find out who really, I like it too, because you can test work.
Yeah.
You can kind of throw something out, see how people feeling this.
Yeah.
You kind of throw something out, see how people feeling, this product. Not product, but product if you have a business, but see how people are feeling this piece that you're performing. Right. So social media is a world to it, so much to it. I love it because it's a gift and a curse. It's a gift and a curse because you have the bullshit, the trolling.
Yeah.
And because it's something serious, I want everybody to do their due diligence and learning about net neutrality, understanding what ISP means. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go into a whole dialogue about that, but that they just passed where net neutrality, there, it's no more regulations on that, far as, and then briefly on this, because it's important. It's important because we do our show using the internet.
Yeah.
It's important because as an artist, you're going to use the internet to post your work.
Right.
So the whole thing about it, in a brief summary, is it's about how your content is viewed and how it's viewed, and so you got this, how it's viewed, and the speed that it's viewed on, right? So you have a fast lane that could be created, and you have a slow lane that could be created.
Okay.
Let's just say that if you want to be in the fast lane, now you got to pay more.
Oh wow.
I'm breaking it down to the simplest form right now without getting real deep in it. And for the slow lane, let's just say you're a high school student, and the only way you can get on the internet is your phone. Now let's say it's taking you 10 minutes to. No, I'm just exaggerating. Let's just say it could take two. It could be like dial-up days.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now you have to pay more just to get into a faster lane. Not only that, but it's about the controlling of what information is put out there. Now, one may say, I like it because we can stop fake news. But what news is going to be incoming to us?
Yeah.
What you have in a lot of what you have in news productions and news stations under cable channels, you know, how does that play in?
Right.
Let's say, let's say Comcast owns, they do, I can't think of it right now, but they own a news station, right? So that news station is going to be favored in what's seen when you Google something.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of interesting. It kind of slows down free speech in a sense. So do your due diligence and search that, really understand what's going on. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that too.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
PSA from Poetically.
PSA. That's the PSA of the day. You got any PSAs?
Man, PSA, support your people, man.
Okay.
If you got people that's doing something and they're doing something positive, and if they have a passion and they have a talent, support them. Just support them. They got an event come out. They got a book, read it a little bit, recommend it to some people. They got an album. They got they got some poems. Support.
Yeah.
That's it.
Support. That's so simple though.
It is simple,
because
but
you're saying, I think people think about it deeper than that. Like, I always see the post that says how you can support an artist. It doesn't have to be financially. It could just be you retweeting. It could be you reposting. It could just be you commenting. You putting somebody on. It doesn't always have to you putting money into my pocket.
Yeah. No, it doesn't have to. It don't have to. You don't got to be no financial transactions. Even if you just, like I said, if you recommend, Yeah. I remember at my old job, like I was a recruiter, and like when you play somebody, it was a big deal. So every time we play somebody, you get to play like a song. We had it was a deal. It called it a deal song. So basically, it's a reason to celebrate and get hype. And everybody had these whatever famous people, and I got my homeboy. Shout out to homeboy Emmanuel. He had a song, and that was my deal song. I played that, and people were like, "Oh, who is this? This is dope." Blah blah blah, and they got real interested. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So just something like that.
I want to do something new now. Because we're nimble like this, and we can do this. We're poets. This is a poetry show, and the reason it's a poetry show because poets are the wordsmiths of the world. We are the ones to express the emotions and the feelings within words, paint the words into life that you can see and that you can feel and that can heal.
Hell yeah.
Okay? No diss to any other artist, but I'm just saying that's the form of poetry, right? It's just the honest, sincere feeling of the thoughts and expressions that one has and one views. So with that being said, I don't know, we could do it this show at the end or later on. We could do it next, but I want to start like different poets that we just find, either we know or we just find. Start like just reading their stuff and then shouting them out.
Yeah, that's dope. I'm with that.
Okay, it could be like something short.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Or if you want to send us something.
It's almost like how the sources have like unsigned hype, except not unsigned. Obviously, we can pick people that's dope, but just the same idea.
Yeah, and we just read your work. Like, we'll put the theatrical voice to it. Don't worry, it won't be boring. We got you.
We got you.
We got you.
Hell yeah, I'm with that.
You with that? You so before you sat down, I let you listen to Eminem's Untouchable.
Yes.
Okay. And if you haven't heard Eminem's Untouchable, I want you to listen to it before. So stop. Pause the podcast. Pause the YouTube. I want you to go listen to the song because we're about to talk about the song. So it'd be kind of unfair and it'd be kind of, kind of whack if you're just listening to us talk about a song that you have no idea about. Plus, I always say I want them to get their honest review themselves before they. That's why I didn't even say anything to you about it beforehand. Yeah. I just said, you listen to it? All right, then I played it. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to say things because sometimes you may hear somebody else what their view is before you even listen to it. Yeah. And now it kind of persuades how you should think about the song. If I tell you the song's whack, now you're going to it. You may not come into it with the same. You know what? I hate. That's like we were talking about overhyping something. Like somebody overhyping you on a
right.
You know, saying this and that. He's the lyrical miracle dragon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It kind of sometimes it takes the taste out of something. I just listen. An artist this week was overhyping a song. That I really love all three of these artists. It was a great song, but they were overhyping it so much that when I listened to it, it was dope.
But it wasn't everything they said it was.
That's my fault, though.
You believed in the gas?
Well, it wasn't even gas. It was dope.
Okay.
But it made it seem like it was so dope.
Yeah.
It made it seem like it was so the next level, you know, and that's my fault because I really don't go into things with expectations. But when you had, it was, I don't even want to say it, but I don't want to say it because I don't want to take anyone else's view of what it could be.
Okay,
got you. I'll tell you afterwards, but
okay.
I don't want to take anyone else's. Then they're gonna look at it and they may be persuaded. So we just talked about this. So
yeah, we don't want that.
You know, this is what I was because now I've already thrown my card out there, so I can't even say it. Yeah. So matter of fact, what's the last thing that you watched or listened to that was overhyped and that you were like, dang, I was kind of disappointed.
So I would say probably Motorsport by Migos. And I like the song now.
You like it now?
I like it for what it is, but I didn't like it when I first listened to it because I went into it thinking people were talking, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I'm about to get some type of bars. And then it's just like I was listening, I was like, this sound like a radio song. So now it's on the radio, I respect it because that's the format it's for. But
that's the format it's
let's
for.
Not act like they was going in like on some, this is
all right,
now,
now,
Nas and Jay.
I will say both of them came hard on it though. I think this, okay. Ooh, this is perfect right here. This is perfect because this is actually going to tie into our Eminem conversation.
Yeah.
About content versus delivery. I think the song itself is whack to me.
Okay.
It's whack to me. I think it's typical Migos going into their normal bag.
Yeah.
Dun it, dun it, dun it, dun it, dun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really nothing. They've done it ever since Bad and Bougie. They've had about 4 different songs.
Yeah.
T-shirt. I really enjoyed T-shirt. They had another one. Dang, what's the other one?
I like Too Hottie. I don't know if y'all heard Too Hottie.
Okay.
But you're probably talking about dang, what's the name of that song that came out after T-shirt?
They've had about 3 or 4 songs in that Bad and Bougie format.
Yeah. I Get the Bag with Gucci
I
Mane.
Get the Bag. I love that song.
Yeah.
But it's still in that.
Yeah.
They're in that bag.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're in that. And I'm not gonna knock it because as an artist, once you find something that works for you, you use it. But as an artist myself, I know you're being, to me, kind of lazy. Either you're being lazy or you're just, the creativity is kind of going out of space when you're using the same format that worked for you and you just keep using that. Let's say like this. It's not the same as if you're on a team and you're using a play that constantly gets you points.
Yeah.
Yes, it constantly gets you points, but in music, at one point do you expand yourself? I think in life, what point do you expand yourself or go out? Or like, when does it become, is it real or is it just a gimmick?
No, I feel you on that. And I think also the fact that they started working on the second album so close to the last one. The last one just came out in January, February. Yeah. And then they're gearing up. Culture 2 is coming. It was going to come out late this year, but they moved it to 2018, which is probably smart.
They make so much music,
They just put so much out, it seems like,
Which they can. When you listen to the music they make, no diss, but, I mean, it's not really hard music to make. I will say it's talented. It's that is talent, though. Yeah. They have a skill.
They do.
That, I don't, what do you call that? That format that they it's actually a term for that.
Really? You mean the style of the
style,
music?
Not the style, but the way they rap on the beat.
Triplets?
Kind of like double time or something like that.
Yeah, double time.
The way they rap, all of a sudden how they rap on the beat is amazing to me. I think that's because it grabs. It's different. It's that, you know what I'm saying? That's it's not as easy as people think actually to really kind of like bounce and to catch the pocket of where to jump into. I think as an artist, when you know how to find the pocket, jump into it, and actually smooth with the beat, I think that's dope. Cardi actually went against the pocket on not Bad and Bougie, but on Bodak Yellow.
Yeah.
She actually went against the pocket or like how the trend of the beat goes. She went against it and actually worked for her because she was lyrically and sonically it was something so different. You know, but as an artist, when you can actually find that pocket and jump in, I think it
is real dope. Yeah, I mean, my favorite parts on Motorsport are the Migos verses. It's just that you're pretty much there for the Nicki and Cardi, but I think the flow of their verses is better.
Well, we gotta ask.
What's up?
I'm not gonna say who bodied, but who got the upper hand?
Well, I prefer Cardi B's verse, but Nicki Minaj switched her flow more and everything technical and blah blah blah. But I just didn't. Something about Cardi B I like. Something about Cardi B I like. You know what I mean? I just like her
persona, energy.
Her energy that she puts out. I just think it's real.
What's up with the barb? What's up with the barb? You have a little something against the barbs?
Nicki Minaj is
Hold on, I got you. Rome's hot take. Go.
Nicki Minaj is cool. Her fast flows and stuff like that is I get it. I dig it. I just feel like she's so since Monster, because I feel like she murdered Monster.
Be careful, the barbers will get you.
I know, that's why I'm watching it.
Monster.
Monster.
Words.
I love Monster. I love Moment for Life. I love the joints like that. But like generally speaking, I just don't really gravitate to her stuff like that. That's just my opinion. You know what I mean? I just don't gravitate towards it. And I don't know if when I watch her interviews and I see her personality and stuff, I feel like I'm getting a character and that's fine. But I feel like I almost see through it too much that I don't really get into it. Versus Cardi B, who's new, and I feel like she has like a character, but I feel like I get a lot more personality from her that is more like her. So I feel like more of her seeps into it than Nicki.
One you think is fake, one think is real.
Basically, but not I don't think Cardi B is super real though, because I don't know if she writes her own rhymes and stuff.
Okay,
like that.
but you know that's her fun. You know what but this is what I will say. Whether she writes or not, you know it relates to her.
Yeah,
I think that's the beauty, and that's what a ghostwriter is supposed to do. Once again, we don't know if she writes it or not. Actually, there is a writer on Bodak Yellow. You gotta look at the credits. We don't look at credits anymore. But because I have to know these things, I look at credits.
Yeah,
there's writers on Bodak Yellow. They're credited. So that's that. So
I always wonder about that too, because they don't tell you which parts go to which person or
they don't tell you
what contributions.
They don't. I wish that would be nice.
Yeah,
because as artists, we like to know that type of stuff,
and we don't know what percentage of what was done by who. So
because it could be something little as somebody just said use this word instead of that word. Or they changed up a few words and now they're credited.
Right.
But going back to that, I think the beauty of a ghostwriter, the whole point of ghostwriter is you're supposed to write to that person's life, the person's persona, that person's character, how that person would say the words. That's a great ghostwriter. When Jay, this is legendary. When Jay wrote for Dre, on Still Dre. Was it Still Dre? The Watcher. What's The Watcher? It's The Watcher, right?
The Watcher on Blueprint too?
No, the Watcher on
Blueprint?
The Chronic. 2000.
Oh, okay,
yeah. But when he wrote for Dre, it sounded like Dre. Dr. Dre talking. And Jay wrote that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think as a ghostwriter, is the beauty of it is you being able to capture what that person would actually think in their head, and you're pinning it down to how they would actually speak.
Yeah.
So one thing with Cardi is when I listen to it, whether she wrote it or not, it sounds like her. She brings that life into it. I really know that she's hype about having this Benz now. I really know she's hype about having your man. I really know she's about that life.
Yeah.
The thing about Nicki, and we'll get into we got away from Eminem, but we're gonna get right back into him. But the thing about Nicki is it's too many metaphors and similes she's used and like switched them up over the years.
Like the same one. It's just
oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah,
I feel like it's the same. I can't think of them right now. It's bad, so it's kind of I'm not bringing the actual proof to you, but she's used them and switched them so many different times. Like,
Yeah.
that's just all right.
Like Tricky, my son going sit on the potty. That's how she closed out the verse on Motorsport. But I feel like she's been saying all you bees are my sons and that kind of thing.
Yo, that is so, yeah. And that's the other thing why I don't never feel bad for Nicki when other female rappers come after her. Yo, you keep saying all these bitches your sons. Yeah. What do you think after a while somebody's gonna come and say, yo, I'm not your son?
Yeah.
Remy is like, no, I'm not your son. Remy is not about that life.
But it's crazy, like you know, if you're gonna say those things and do that, you got to be like really about this rap stuff. You know what I mean? But you don't see Nicki Minaj going on like Hot 97 to freestyle for Flex or nothing like that. But you'll see Remy or somebody like that do that. You know what I mean? And I prefer where the female MCs at. You know what I mean? Like the Rhapsodies and the Remy's.
What you mean, like where they at?
Like I want them to be on that platform. You know what I mean?
Freestyling with on Hot or what you mean?
Well, no, not only freestyling on Hot, but like on the radio, like it important in the culture and celebrated in the culture.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Keep talking. I'm about to look something up real quick.
I was just saying, like, you know, we celebrate. For some reason, especially with female rappers, it's like the ones that it's known that they don't write or what have you, they can still be like number one, but you can never be number one in a context of a male hip hop conversation, and you're not writing.
So because we're doing this and you're talking, I can't just sit and not be active. There's this young lady on Instagram. Oh, she's nasty. Nice. She is nasty. And follow her. She's at SAWEETIE. I don't know how you pronounce that. Sorry.
SAWEETIE.
Yeah, she is nice, yo. She got this song called Icy Girl. She is in her bag talking her shit, yo. Yeah. She is nice, yo. SAWEETIE. On SoundCloud too. Yo, she is. You know, I don't have a problem with shouting people out too. Like, it's not even about trying to get a big, like, cause if it's dope, you know, we were talking about that with Lauren. Yeah. If it's dope, you gotta. Some people just gotta be shout out. I'm gonna shout somebody else, another female rapper out too. Shout out to. I'm gonna have to find these other. I'm gonna do this next time. But there's some other female rappers out here too that are really. Oh, but Dush, I can't just not do this and not shout out my friends. That is cold blooded. Shia. Follow her at Shia_official. She's a rap. You know what's dope about Shia? And I'm gonna play some of her music somehow, somewhere. But she's from I want to say Barbados. But she brings like an island taste rap to it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. She's fresh. But you see who I was telling you about right there?
Yeah, I just followed her.
Yeah, listen to her music. She is fresh. She is dope. But
so the Queen City Awards was last night. Mm-hmm. And they had the Best Poet of the Year category. Mm-hmm. And we were trying to figure out who won. Yeah. We've been talking about it. I just got word in from my man. Shout out.
Hold on. Do we need like a drum roll?
It might be a little anticlimactic, but also a good moment.
Okay. So
shout out to my man, Sir Abstracts. Apparently, nobody won the award. What they did instead was they did a memorial to Tavis Brunson, who passed away last year. So he got like a memorial award.
Interesting. Well, so educate me and those that don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is. I've heard of him, but I never got to know who he was as an artist.
So before Queen City Collective, before Poetically Correct, before the Super Friends, before all that, Charlotte had this poppin' poetry crew called Concrete Generation, which is real poppin' in the early 2000s. And they had a whole bunch of just cats that was just, they like legends now. Wow. And Tavis Brunson was one of like the pillars of it, if not one of the founders. I'm not sure how he fit into it, but I think he was high up in it.
Right.
And he was a poet who was just doing stuff all over, nationally, internationally, that kind of thing. And he passed away last year.
Okay, wow.
So a lot of those OGs and a lot of people who were around during that time, you know, Ashine and a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah.
Celebrate him, and he's like somebody that is like, it's like for Tavis. It's kind of guy you make shirts for and hats for because you want to represent what he was about.
Okay,
you know?
I've always seen him, celebrated.
Yeah,
and I knew he was a poet, but I didn't get the pleasure no one seeing his art. So.
Yeah, I feel like I met him a couple times, but I didn't really. I was late on that.
Okay,
so, yeah.
Well that's nice they did the memorial.
For sure, man. So shout out to everybody who even.
Now you was shouting out Abstract.
Abstract is the person who relayed the message.
Oh,
to me.
Told you. Okay,
yeah,
got you. Okay, got you.
So he was the plug.
Let's shout out to Abstract then.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's fresh. Cause I was wondering who the poet of the year was.
Yeah.
Who? Shall I ask you?
What? Who was my poet of the year?
Yeah.
Well, I'm biased, you know.
Yeah.
I would say Lawrence Solaire is poet of the year. I would say Lawrence Solaire.
That is the perfect answer.
Yeah, I'm talking about co-founder of the Queen City Collective.
Yeah,
which is like the most poppin'est new crew in Charlotte.
Yes, talk it.
Got the Forum CLT. You know, got Voyage. So she's putting platforms together for other artists, which I think is key.
Yes.
She's killing it her own stuff, which is key.
Yes.
Got her own event page, her own Facebook profile. Yeah. She got her own thing going, website.
The Forum,
like I'm saying.
You missed that one out.
Bruh, performing in Atlanta. Performing in Alabama.
Dallas.
DC, Dallas. What we talking about?
What we saying, Rome?
What we talking about?
What we saying, Rome?
So, 2018.
Winston-Salem performing there.
Yeah, Greensboro. Durham.
Yeah.
Come on. So...
Was she nominated?
And I'm sorry. Was
she nominated?
No, she wasn't.
How was she not? How does that work?
I don't know how they get the nominees.
Yeah, I want to know how they find it.
2018, we put Lawrence Solaire on the ballot.
We're putting her on the ballot.
She taking it home.
You taking it regardless.
Yes. So
I know Lauren likes to be humble about these things, but I'm gonna talk your shit for you. I'm not gonna talk your shit for you.
We got you.
Yeah.
So I think New York. She did something up there too. So
jeez.
Yeah.
New York was that though. That's what's up. All right.
Wait, no, I gotta put it back on you. Who's your poet of the year?
Oh man, my poet of the year. You know what? When you look at the totality of everything that's, because I like how you broke that down. What somebody's done for themselves, what somebody's done for the culture, along with everybody else involved and putting them on as well. And looking at how they're moving outside the city, along within the city themselves. Yes, the Queen City Awards, but I think what you do outside Queen City, you're representing Queen City. So I think that plays a big part. And when I look at that, when you break it down like that, wow, it's
kind of tough, right? Because there's a lot of dope people.
Yo, you know what? I would honestly, you've made a good case for Lauren. No, and that's not even me just saying that because you're here. It's not even, Lauren's my friend. It's not even me just saying that for her. But when you break it down like that, it's hard to argue. Because in one side of my head, I would say Ed Mabry. You know what I'm saying? Because he stays on the road.
Always.
He stays on the road.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at what you're saying as far as people that have created venues for everybody else. A poet named Superman, probably my runner-up.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Because
shout
of
out
what
to Soup.
Yeah, because what you create, the spaces that you create for others, I think plays a large part into the culture.
Because it just adds that extra element. Because it's one thing to be killing it on stage, but it's another thing to give other people stages to kill. You know what I mean?
Right. And so, when you write them, matter of fact, shout out to Travis Burnson, but Lauren won. Yeah, yes. According to us, according to our personal record,
Lawrence Solaire, poet of the year.
So yeah, if you did not hear, according to our personal record books, Lawrence Solaire won the poet of the year.
If they had to write him about it, I would have started a campaign.
Yeah. I would definitely campaign.
But it'd be dope because even in the future, because I saw how they had the different categories and stuff like that. Because there's subcategories too. Like poetry is at the point now where there's so many spoken word scene has subgenres. You could do best slam poet. You could do best open mic host or you know.
Yeah, it's so
best erotic poet. You could do a lot of different categories.
It's tough, right?
Yeah.
Because you do have several different genres. You got, like you said, slam versus erotic versus you said open mic.
Yeah, all the people who have their own open mic spaces.
Yeah, who has the best open mic space? And we love all of you, but I mean,
yeah. If I'm comparing, it really depends on what you're looking for. Because when people ask me, where do I go? I give them. If you're looking for this, Like Israel, you know, Flow Bar is a
If
super
you're looking
smooth
for the grown-up,
spot.
sexy, erotic,
And I like the format that they use for theirs too, because
Yes.
it's different, the team versus team.
I like that.
And then for Release Therapy, Greg's thing, it's a great spot for
Beginners.
new people who are coming and looking for an environment where they can sew into, because the workshop is right before the open mic.
Exactly.
A lot of those same people are there. So if you come in and writing and you want some advice, or if you want to get something going, Greg is a great person to get connected with, because he can get you growing,
Right.
and stuff like that. And then of course, you know, everything JC does is always going to be, it's going to have a certain type of standard of excellence and how he moves.
I saw you had something coming up with next week, or
Yeah, Touch One Thursdays.
Touch One, yeah. Is he bringing that? Is it going to be back?
I think it's back, bro.
Back.
I think it's back.
Because I know it tried to come back a few
Yeah.
times.
No, I think it's back, bro.
Is it back?
I think it's back. We need to get him up here or something. We need to start getting some of these.
JC's one of the
OGs.
OGs.
He hold it down.
He
Shout
hold
out
it
to
down, man. He is so smooth.
Yeah, with the fedoras and everything. Shout out to JC. What up, bro? Big bro.
Yeah, man.
And it's like, I'm trying to think if there's other categories we could put on that. But, you know, it's just so much. There's so much that we could celebrate. We could even do written poets and stuff like that. Because there's people that got books that don't perform at open mics and stuff.
Right. So who's, top.
You know, like V-Roy. V-Roy got a book.
Shout out to V-Roy.
You know, Ravi be writing fire. Shout out to Ravi.
Ravi, she writes?
She writes, yeah.
Wow.
She might not perform, but she writes some fire. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I'm just bigging up my friends.
I get excited, yo. And you know what? You know what's crazy? I get excited looking at poets. I get excited reading work because you always wonder when it's something so creative. You always wonder, how did they put? When I can wonder, how did you put those words together?
Yeah.
How did you come up with that?
Yeah.
I think that's dope. And it's so many words in the world, right?
Yeah.
It's so many. When you see something that you didn't even think could be put together,
Yeah.
it's like, wow.
And that's the feeling that we all be chasing. Because I know when I was a kid, like, and I was
Yeah.
listening to rap and stuff like that, I was like, how did they blah, blah, blah. You know, that's what you love to see. When I hear people like Hydra, or even when we listen to Druzy and Kayla, shout out to Soul Speak, UNC Charlotte. Like, it's like, how did they even...
Yeah.
And the stuff, especially like Druzy and Kayla, they wrote that, what they performed, they wrote at the workshops. So they wrote that in 30 minutes. That's crazy. That's crazy.
For me, it's sick they were able to remember that shit.
Yeah, right.
That is my this time is one thing, but be able to remember, man, my brain has to go. I have to practice like over and over.
Me too, man. And I have to like do it while I'm driving. I got to practice in the mirror. Like
doing it while you're driving is key.
Yeah.
And the mirror is boom, another tip right there. If you want to practice on performing and whatnot, the mirror is always great. I learned this when I was young. My mom would always tell me about when I had to speak in front of a class, to practice in front of the mirror. For one, you're actually looking at someone. Yeah, it's yourself, but I think self, without getting too deep, is sometimes hard. Is one of the toughest things to look at. Plus, you have to, if you look at yourself in the eyes and you're performing it, you are now taking in what you're saying.
Yeah.
You have the words are almost bouncing off
and
coming right back at you.
Yeah.
So you know you're seeing a face. It's not like you're just at a wall. A wall doesn't look at you. A wall, and it's the same thing. Like when you're performing, they always tell you find a space in the room that you focus on.
Yeah.
I think it's key too to find that space. But I think it's even sexier. I think it's even just more intimate when you can look at the crowd.
Yeah.
When you can go face to face.
Absolutely.
To face, even in the person in the back.
Absolutely.
And look at them.
That's something I always noticed made a huge difference when I used to like perform and do music and stuff like that, especially with rap, because you know, if you're not present and interacting, people are just like whatever, especially people that aren't there for the bars.
Yeah. So
what you do is you look them in their eyes, and when you look people in their eyes, it makes them listen, because then now they feel connected to you.
Yeah.
So with rap performance, it's big about making that connection. Yeah. In that way, and with poetry even more so, because it's more intimate with no music and stuff like that. So you had said something just now that was real. I forgot what I was about to say about it, but it's neither here nor there.
No, performing in front of the mirror. That's
so that off of what you just said. Filming yourself is good too.
Yo, is that yo? Filming yourself is like the mirror, but it's a little tougher. Yeah, because you're on a camera. Yeah, and it's you looking at all. You're tricking yourself because you're thinking it's live. Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you right now, some things that I put on Instagram, yo. That shit, I had one last week. Took me like damn 30 minutes. I ain't even gonna lie. That shit took me forever. was getting pissed off. Like, man, because you mess up one line.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, I got to start over. It's not, you know what? It is tougher because when you mess up one line in the mirror, you just go back to the mirror.
Yeah.
When the camera's that red light on,
yeah,
you record, boom.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And yeah, I've taken hours just trying to get the poem right. Like, dang, I messed up this part. Oh, dang, if I did this motion instead of this one.
Yeah.
Oh, dang, I'm too loud. I sound angry. And it's not an angry poem. It's all of that. And you really get to the point where you hone it. You got to hone it.
I wonder what angry Rome sounds like.
It'd just be like, just real intense for no reason.
Yeah.
Baby, I love you so much, and I just want you to be with. Were you in Greensboro for when B-Rock hosted? It was like 3 weeks ago.
I did not. I couldn't.
Okay.
Make it, yeah. You was there?
Yeah.
He was doing angry poem?
No. It was another gentleman. Shout out to him because he said a lot of real stuff, but it was just we were a little concerned because he was performing to this girl.
His girl was there?
He was like his ex, I think.
Oh, okay.
And like he was performing to her. And he led into it saying, yeah, you gotta appreciate your woman, blah, blah, blah. But once he started performing, like it was like his passion came out.
A little too much.
As like an angry passion. You know what I mean?
Sound a little stalkerish. Sound like
Yeah.
He's about to go. He pulled up at it at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so everybody, all the fellas was like, man, like we felt like we might have to jump in. Like,
watch it,
bro.
bro.
You know what I mean? So, but it was cool. It was just that energy.
Yeah.
So you got to almost be mindful of what kind of energy you putting out when you perform.
That is true because how you come off, people going to assume sometimes that you're going through that right there.
Yeah.
But you want to make it feel real. So it's a thin line.
Yep.
It's a gray area of making it feel real, but making it also feel like you're still sane.
Yeah.
Like you haven't gone off the border.
Yeah.
And I think that the balance is it's all about flows, right? It's about going there to the edge and then backing back down, right?
Yep.
And I have a piece where I'm kind of like in that same sense.
Yeah.
But I tone it. I get one part where it gets there.
Yeah.
But then you know how you got to reel it in.
Right.
Because it's like a roller coaster, right? Your roller coaster just doesn't go up and keep your ass up there. That's how your poem should be.
Yeah.
It should start off up here and build and then take your ass up there, then come down. Now sometimes you go back.
Yeah.
But at the end, you're always gonna end balanced.
Bruh, you have been saying some real shit today, bruh.
I'm just saying, like, you're gonna end right there.
Yeah.
And now you get off, and either it was a thrilling ride, or it's made you sick because you could relate to it, or it was fun.
Yeah.
That's how poetry does. It's either thrilling, or it puts you in your emotions, or it was fun.
Yes.
So I'm gonna tell you what wasn't fun.
Uh-oh.
All right. After I just talked about this, after I just said that when you say certain things, people are going to take in what you say, and they're going to take their own. They're going to take what you said, and they're going to add to their own cognitive thoughts. Right. After I just said that, but I want to say this: if you whatever streaming site you have, go listen to the Eminem album. If you are a hip hop fan,
Okay.
If you're going to value what we're about to say. Now, you haven't listened to the album. I have not listened to the album entirely, but we're going to talk about the song Untouchable.
Okay.
A lot of people say that song is trash. A lot of people say that song is whack. A lot of people say that song was corny. But I'm going to say it sounds like something that the Beastie Boys would have made.
Yeah, it does.
Back in the 90s. I'm going to say that. The Eminem album, from what I've heard, it wasn't for me. We've already talked about we think he's not touched with the people. I think he lives his life inside of just comfortable. And he sees a few headlines every now and then and gets outraged. He sees the big headlines. Yeah. And I think that sparks certain things, like the song Untouchable. It's about police brutality. Yeah. Which is good to hear from someone that's white, especially a rapper of M's caliber. It's about how black people have been treated in America for the many years, the oppression from the suppressors, right? And it's about how white people get away with certain things, which I think the message was lined up. Now, there's a line between, we were talking about this earlier with the whole Migos thing. There's a line between content and delivery. how your content lines up with how you deliver the content. Because you want things to be sincere, right? When M is constantly yelling on the track in a very 90s-esque beat, white boy, in a very high-pitched voice, in an M format that doesn't even sound like him, when it doesn't even sound like it sounds like he's reaching. It doesn't even sound like him in 2000, doesn't sound like him in 2011, and now in 17, for you just to come out and just to express this, the hook didn't sound genuine.
Okay.
From my perspective, I'm giving you this is Poetic Lee's views, and then I line that up with the BT cipher.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he's on a campaign, which I don't. It looks like he's on a campaign for stand up for justice, which I don't knock.
Yeah.
I think he said in the interview he was upset that Donald Trump didn't respond to him.
Yeah.
But you're white. He's not going to respond. You're not the enemy. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to respond to you. You're good. His fans were upset. Some of his fans didn't like what he said, but I think that's the important part.
Yeah.
So before I even get to the song, because you can break down the song, you can critique the song itself, but I as somebody that's not an Eminem fan, I don't go into Eminem listening for the song. I just go because he's a technician of rapping. He's a technician of words. I go in to listen to what he's saying, especially at this time. I want to know, what do you have to say going into 2018? What do you have to say?
Yeah.
You talked about so much in your life. You talked about the recovery. You had an album, Recovery.
Yeah.
You talked about recovering yourself now. What does one have to say that we never see? Hove, we see.
Yeah.
You're with Bay. You know, we see Hove.
Yeah.
We know the move. We know Hove's making business moves.
Yeah.
I want somebody to correct me, but I have not seen a business move that M's made before that I can just throw out there to you. I can tell you what Puff is doing business-wise. I can tell you what Jay, let me stick with rappers. I can tell you what Jay is doing business-wise. I can tell you what Drake is doing business-wise. We're talking about OGs. I can tell you what Fat Joe is doing business-wise. You know, I can tell you what Nori's doing business-wise.
Yeah.
You know, I can tell you what Ja Rule is doing business-wise.
Yeah.
Talking about just old 50 Cent, just talking about old rappers that are doing business-wise.
Okay.
I can tell you what they're doing just in life, period. That's not even me knowing these people. Now, I'm not saying we should know your everyday move, but I think in this day of age, when you're disconnected from the people, and these are things you have to know as an artist, when you're disconnected from the people, your music's disconnected. Damn. Music represents time. Music represents the people. Whether you like it or not, it represents what we're going through in the moment. Now, yes, the song is Untouchable is about what we're going through in the moment, right? Yeah. So I'm excited to hear what you're saying. But how are you relaying that content versus delivery? Your content is with the people, but your delivery is not.
Yeah. I feel that. Just to build off of that, just my thoughts on it.
Okay.
We talk about being disconnected. You know, because we want, like we talk about, you know, having white people speak out against these things too. So it's not just, you know, like y'all don't, you know, y'all don't see it or whatever. Right. But when they do that, I feel like sometimes that's what you get, because they're going to be disconnected from. Because they're not black, so they're not gonna fully get that point across, that message across. So it's gonna be a little different. So I get that. So understanding this is a white guy in his 40s, I think, you know, he really tried to make that work. But I think it was a genuine attempt. I think it was a genuine attempt. But I do think it comes off a little corny because he's a white guy in his 40s. You know what I mean? So trying to talk about these issues. So it's just, but I like the beat choice. I like the Beastie Boys sound. I like those things. There's parts where I felt like it was a little sloppy, but then there was other parts where I felt like he was in that pocket and that flow.
He was rapping his ass off.
Yeah.
I want to say that too. He was rapping his ass off.
Yeah.
I think when you look at the song of it, it was just corny him using the hook and the chorus. Yeah. But he was rapping his ass off on certain parts. Yeah, I think he got into his rap. It was one part that he got into his bag on. But
here's the other thing though.
Okay.
Back in the late 90s and early 2000s, and Eminem was on his super lyrical thing, that was still a more new thing. I feel like the super lyrical thing now you can see other people or younger people who are doing that and that are doing it better than where he is right now in his career.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can listen to Joyner Lucas or Logic or even Kendrick on certain joints, and you can get that.
Yeah.
And so when he does that, it doesn't feel the same way it felt in '98. You know what I mean? It was just him and Big Pun and Cannabis and a couple other people.
Okay, stepping away from the music, and we're gonna get back to the message because I think the message is important.
Okay.
What he's talking about. Do you think he's aged with hip hop? And I mean, as far as do you think he's aged? When I listen to 444 by Jay, he aged with hip hop. He was able to evolve into a new sound, into a new pocket, and be able to create without sounding like, even though 96, 97, Reasonable Doubt back then, it still was sound is nice, but he was able to age. When I listen to even Fat Joe, he doesn't sound like 03. You know what I'm saying? When I listen to, fortunately, 50 Cent just put out a new song. Listen to him. He doesn't sound like old.
Yeah.
I think aging plays a lot of part. I love Rakim, but Rakim was never able to age with hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
I love one that God MCs. I can't even think of his name. But Nas was able to fortunately age with hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
That surprised me.
Yeah.
Because there was one point where I didn't think he was going to age with hip hop, but he was able to age with hip hop.
I feel like M aged with commercial hip hop. I feel like as Eminem is gone, like he's in the pocket when it comes to the commercial stuff, the radio joints and all that. But I feel like that underground or that come up culture, I feel like he's not connected with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sonically.
You know what he does that really irks me? He stays to a formula, that commercial formula, when that isn't the trend anymore.
Yeah.
And that was what I'm saying, as far as being able to go with the times. Because in 2011, 08, 03, you could spit your 3/16s and then have the woman come in and sing the hooks.
Yeah.
The beautiful melodic hook. You could do that. You could sing the chorus and have it such a peaceful song or a very heartfelt song. And you could do that, boom, and sell 1 million copies. Yeah. Have now a billion streams. You could do that. Nowadays, that Beyonce and M song, I don't know, did you hear that shit?
I heard it, yeah.
That was whack. That was corny as hell.
Yeah.
That was, oh my gosh, that was a waste of a Beyonce feature. If that wasn't that was such a waste of a Beyonce feature. And I'm saying it was corny as an artist. This is my views, you know. But it was corny to me because, for one, there was no drum used. Yes, I'm that picky. It needs to be a drum somewhere in it, you know what I'm saying? It just sounded very, I didn't feel the soul in it.
Okay.
I didn't feel any soul in it. I felt, I just felt the process. The process of just, Beyonce is such a talented singer. She just sang that beautiful. I didn't feel soul. And then M being vulnerable, his message was on point, but it was a whack song to me.
Yeah.
But going back to the message of Untouchable, because I think it ties in the same thing with Joyner Lucas, I'm Not a Racist video. We got to hear the white side talk about it. We have to hear white people talk about the issues in America. The issue of racism, with quotations around it, in America. Because black people, we know. It's like you punch me and you punch me again. Yeah, I know I'm hurting. Why do I have to talk? Why do I have to tell people about why I'm hurting?
Yeah.
It needs to be you to tell them to admit that you punched me, and for you to admit that, okay, I see why you're hurt. I see why you're upset. Yeah, we're not friends because you just came over and punched me.
Yeah.
And then let me break it down to you like that. You punched me, right? You never apologized. You just lived your life.
Yeah.
And you kept beating me up. And then we have kids. My kids know your kids. Your kids are like, they're trying to be cool, but my kids like, Don't you know what your pops did to my dad? Was beating him up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for no reason. Or attacked them, robbed them for no reason.
Yeah.
Well, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Bump that. It does have something to do with you. That's your lineage.
Yeah.
So whether or not, we can make up and understand it, but just admit it.
Yeah.
Don't say it has nothing to do with me. As white people say, that was back then. I love black people. I had black friends. Don't say that shit.
Yeah.
A black friend doesn't mean nothing. The slave master had black friends. He treated people nicely, but at the same time, he still whipped their ass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It comes to a point we have to hear you, and that's why I say. And now, black people, us talking to each other about race issues, we need to understand what's going on, but we have to change our focus now to back to economic issues. Race issues you and I talking about why oppression is in America is almost like preaching to the choir.
Mm-hmm.
Having us being two white men instead here talking about our ancestors and what they did and how we subconsciously think about black people or people of color people in general, that is what needs to be said.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only way it's going to, because at the end of the day, black people don't have a problem with white people. Our only problem with white people is that they have a problem with us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it has to be said from that side. Eminem, we have to hear a song like that. Mm-hmm. Whether it's whack or not, I'm glad he did it. Mm-hmm. Because his fans need to understand that. His fans need to listen to what he's saying about what black people have been going through from the beginning of time and now, why we feel the certain way we do.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Joyner Lucas did a good job of certain parts of what he was doing with that joint, like especially the first verse of, you know, representing the Trump supporter talking to the black dude or whatever. And my personal hot take is I feel like he did a very uninformed job of the second verse for the black guy. It was a moment that was missed.
Okay.
To create this little false unity thing.
Okay, and if you haven't seen, watch Joyner Lucas, I'm Not a Racist video if you haven't seen it, so that way you can understand what we're talking about. Okay, play.
Yeah, and my son, shout out to my son, he did a remix to it, and he did a better job of that. But I feel like the second verse did not talk about. I mean, the nigga was like, "Y'all know about no Kool-Aid, no fried chicken, no two-step." It's like, what? Like, he had the time to why? Like, it didn't make sense because he was passionately in this moment in this conversation with this guy. Y'all know about no Kool-Aid, no fried chicken. It looked real ignorant, and it looked like a guy who was out of touch with what black people even care about. Because nobody would say that.
So, as a creative, I'm gonna tell you, I think that was sarcasm. I think him saying you don't know anything about any Kool-Aid, two-step, and fried chicken. I think that's him being witty.
How so?
Well, witty in the sense of what has been the joke of stereotype black people?
Those things. So I think that's him being witty in that sense of. And it may not have come across that way. Mm-hmm. But in my head, when I first saw it, that's him being witty and saying, of course, the voice tone, when you're yelling, when you have that passion and anger, it doesn't sound the wittiness there. Uh-huh. But in my head, that's my perspective, how I view it. It sounds, I think he was trying to be witty and say, these are the things we're known as. You don't know anything. You don't even know these things that we're even known about. You don't even know anything about. Yeah. So don't come across this line. I get it. I feel like it wasn't a moment for sarcasm because it was a real serious song.
No, I agree.
And even like, okay, Kool-Aid, I'm pretty sure is white owned. Like, it's not a black owned thing. So even for black culture to be based off of something like that, it still refers back to white culture. But I feel like he didn't really talk about anything. And instead his grandma was a slave. That's not even really possible.
Okay.
I think this is bad writing.
Because I had to look at my notes. The message. Uh-huh. So let's break this down. The message was what white people think. Mm-hmm. Not white people. White people that haven't evolved in their thinking. Racists think. Mm-hmm. And how they think about people of color. Mm-hmm. And then the message, there was two sides of the message. What white people think on that end, and then what black people think of white people not knowing how we feel. That was that end. Mm-hmm. And to understand that what we go through. Mm-hmm. I no longer want to have that conversation. Well, not have that conversation, but we're all humans, right? Mm-hmm. This isn't all lives matter, but this is to say that we all are living on the same planet. We're all living in the same government system. However, there are systematic things that we go through that are different because of the times that you have to remember this country grown off slavery. It was built off slavery. So there were things placed where slavery was once legal. We talked about this. Slavery was once legal. Then you had where the 13th Amendment Act. Look that up. Understand the 13th Amendment. But if you're living in a place where slavery was once legal under a judicial system, the same judicial system that we're kind of in now, of course things changed, obviously, for us to be sitting here. But it wasn't but just 80 years ago when it was legal to have a colored water fountain and a white colored fountain. So if we're living in that same country, in that same time period, right then and there, that's why I'm saying the conversation needs to no longer be for black people to tell white people how we feel.
I agree.
What are we saying here? Yeah. Are we not humans? Now, one may say, well, because I always think there's an argument to everything, obviously. One may say, well, if one has been trained to not look at you as human, one has been trained to look at you as an animal, then how would they even know how you feel without you expressing it, right? Well, do they see us walk? Do they see us talk? Talk with us. Just talk with us. I think that's what everything boils down to. We have to talk, understand who we are. Not understand how we feel about, oh, you beating us and you don't understand this, you don't understand that, but just have a regular conversation. What are you doing? What are you doing with your life? Where did you go to school? What do you know about this? What do you know about that? Mm-hmm. Break that ice down first. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We can talk about the obvious, but let's talk about what's even on the same relevant page.
I feel that. I just don't even feel like that was that's not even a conversation I would even look to have. Like the idea of this Trump supporter guy and this black guy talking or whatever, like it's already like a false thing because I'm not looking for this guy to tell me about how he feels about my people.
Why not?
Because I just posted this on Instagram the other day. You know what I'm saying? It's like in this country, and people do this in other places too, I'm sure, but they try to poison the roots and then blame the fruit. So
you did. That was deep.
If you set things up a certain way, and then when they play out a certain way, and you blame the effect of the cause, like that's like it's like a twisted way of blaming the victim. It's victim blaming is what it is.
Without even looking at the process of what happened.
Yeah. So it's like, so if you talk about pull your pants up, I'd rather see a black man claiming the son. Okay, so let's talk about how these drugs got in this community because we were doing that. But then all of a sudden, and then you see stuff like The Godfather is a very celebrated movie. There's a scene in The Godfather where they have the round table with the different families, and the guy says, we're not going to sell drugs to the Italians, but you can sell them to the niggas in Harlem. All they want is a Cadillac anywhere or something like that. So, and that's a celebrated movie. So that shows an institutional example of even they were making a decision to put that in certain environments because they viewed those people as less than.
Education. Being educated on the cause and effect. What you're saying right there is right on point. You cannot blame the victim and not understand from which they came from. You can't look at this and say, oh, we're acting this way. That's why when riots happen, you can't look at the people rioting and say, why the hell they, I'm not talking about the people that are just busting windows for no reason, but the people in the streets really have the fire up with rage. Why the hell they acting like this? Well, let's break it down. Let's look at the system that we're in. Let's look at how we're treated by the police, Let's look at the drugs, the 80s, crack, put it into our neighborhoods. Our people sold crack. Yes, that is very true. That is true. But why do we sell crack? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about why we were selling crack.
Yeah.
And the opportunities that weren't given to us, or the opportunities that were given to us that we saw that we could have with this lifestyle. The whole drug game was glorified in the sense of it's about family. We were fucking up our people. I can't excuse drug dealers, all drug dealers. But I think there's more education now about the effects of what cocaine, crack, heroin does to one than back then. Everybody, we were getting high on things. Well, not we, because we weren't back then. But as a culture, everyone was getting high on things because it was the life. The lifestyle, sweet. It was beautiful to feel this essence.
People want nice things.
Yeah, but in another sense, I'm talking about on the user end, you really didn't know the effects of what drugs were back then.
Yeah, true.
Now we know. You ain't doing crack like that. You know, you got people, of course, still doing cocaine, but I mean, they think they can get away with it. But after a while, the new phase now with this Molly and all these pills, we're gonna see 15 years now, 15 years later, the effects of these people, how they look, how they you know, how they function. We're going to see that.
But see, you just made a great point, because you said you wouldn't be able to see those effects until a certain number of years have passed.
Yeah.
So for anybody to be looking at now, you can't criticize now. You need to look at what happened in the late 80s, mid 80s, early 90s, and then you got to go from there to have those conversations.
Yeah.
So it's not just, you can't just think about the past or whatever. No, everything that's happening now is influenced by that.
Right.
I was born in the late 80s. You were born in the early 90s. So we got to start there.
Yeah.
And the effects that have happened, even hip hop culture, because hip hop culture has been around since the 70s and 80s. And they were talking about drugs.
Joyner Lucas video. The issue with it, as far as you discussed your issues with it, where could the resolution been?
My only thing was, it could go two ways. Because if the white guy's going to give an informed take on how he feels about this and that, then the black guy's verse needs to be informed too.
Okay.
So I didn't feel like the black guy was informed.
What it should have been informed.
He didn't talk about anything he didn't really go into anything institutional. He didn't talk about, you want to talk about pulling pants up. You want to talk about black men claiming their son and stuff like that. Well, you need to talk about the way that we were taught to hate ourselves.
Okay.
We need to talk about the issues of self-hate. You need to talk about the issues of the institutionalized racism, the way that the prison system works, the way that the prison system was invented after slavery.
Okay.
And how they were already criminalized, the criminalization of the black man. You got to have all those type of conversations. You can't just be like, I just hate y'all and that's just where I'm at.
And that's what it was. It was a blanket.
Yeah.
It was just, so this video, when I look at it, it was more of uneducated emotions and feelings. But that's the world we live in. There are more people that did not go to college than did go to college. There are more people that just high school and that was it. You have a lot of people that didn't go to high school, that dropped out of high school. Uneducated people, ignorant people. Ignorant isn't a bad thing, because if you look at the true definition of ignorance, it's not knowing. Now, being willfully ignorant is bad. You have a lot of that. You have people just willingly won't learn information. So on that basis, his video stooped down to the basis of a lot of the majority of America, unfortunately. The poor white people and the black people that are just in the hood thinking. These are raw emotions and feelings. We don't know why we feel this way. That's the problem. We don't know why we feel. We don't know why we don't like white people, right? Or we don't have a problem with white, but I'm saying we don't know why we have a problem with white people. And
I think we do. Like you said earlier, it's because of is the society we live in.
Yes.
But it's not one size fits all. I mean,
yeah, we know in a kind of a sense why we don't like, but all that stems from them not liking us historically, and now some cases now too. I want a white person to tell me why they don't like black people. Why don't you feel that? Why do you feel that way? I think these are raw emotions that really don't come from anything. I mean, they come from just not being educated. Which that video lacked the education you're talking about. Had it come from some educational points, then boom.
That was my only point, because I'm talking about in the premise of the video is one side and another side. So that means that there's people watching it that can be on one side or the other side. But I don't feel like people got something from the other side like they should have.
I didn't get anything.
Yeah,
I already knew what the white man felt.
Right,
in that video.
Yeah, and I feel like, and I knew where the black guy was coming from, but everything that wasn't said as well. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
So I don't feel like I learned anything new from it.
So if you would,
and it ended in a hug too. So it's like
a lot of people didn't like the hug
because this guy just got done telling him how he felt about all this, and the black guy said, and it's like, they hug, and then what we doing now? So what we doing?
That's my whole point. What's the resolution?
Because the healing is not between the black guy and the white guy. So they don't. The hug doesn't need to be them. It needs to be the black guy and the other black guy. The black guy and his brother or his dad or something like that. The healing don't need to happen between them two. It needs to happen with us.
Where do you see, now you obviously, your mom's white.
My mom's not white.
No, your mom's not
She's
white?
mixed though. Yeah.
She's mixed.
Yeah. She half black, half white.
Okay. So that's it. That's where it comes from.
And some type of native, whatever.
Okay. All right, well, scratch my next question then. Well, as a white, if you just trying to imagine as a white person, how would you resolve that other than a hug? In that moment.
You can resolve it. I feel like you can resolve it as a hug when all the cards are put on the table. I feel like those are all the cards put on the table.
Action too.
Action, yes. And I think, and maybe you don't have to end it on a hug. Maybe they just walk off. I mean, you can find another way. You can find a way to do it. But I get the intention of wanting to end it with a hug because it's a resolution. It feels like a resolution.
Yeah. But
but the issues they're talking about aren't resolved
right
just by hugging. You got to action.
Yeah. And the beauty, but I say the beauty of what he did is it started something.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, it started. It's like we always have these things that start something, but the problem with starting something is if you don't have a destination. There was no destination with his video. The destination of peace and love, yes, but how do you get to the peace and love? Like, you could tell me that I want to move to New York, right? But if you don't give me a map or a GPS to how to get to New York, I'm just going to end up driving now and my ass is in Kentucky. So the destination to peace and love, give us a map. We need to plan it. Give us a map. Black people, we know the map. That's why I say we have to stop talking to us about the race issues. Let's talk to each other about the economic issues of building our wealth. Building ourselves as people, as a community together. Because we can focus on that. And there's no diss to any other culture, but white people, build yourself a map to how you can, if you don't want to see race issues, or if you don't see it at all, that's fine. But if you actually care and want to see, build yourself a map. For those that want to hug it out. If you want to hug it out, come with the map. Come with some action that you want to tell your kids, that you want to tell your kids. Go to your school and say you want more Black history in there. Fuck them up with that. As a white person, go into the school and say, I need to see more Black history. That is action. Not just, tell your kids that, hey, this is Dr. Martin Luther King. Show them Malcolm X too. Show him with that rifle in his hand, out looking out the window. You know what I'm saying?
No, I feel that.
Show them some other people. Show them Dr. Sabi.
Hell yeah.
On the health end. Show them that we can be healthy too.
Yeah.
Show them the whole broad spectrum. Education.
Yeah.
Because we're out here, right?
We are out here.
We've been out here.
We have been out here.
So you got to have a map to things. You got to know where you go. You not know where you're going, but don't avoid it's going to be detours, right? Don't avoid, if it's an accident. That's how we look at this whole racism. And people don't want to open their eyes to it. They're race issues, right? Like, the destination is peace and love and happiness, right? But to get there, we have race issues. We have systematic issues. And all those are accidents on the road, highway. These are accidents, boom. It's like you're driving and you don't want to look over. You see somebody's car on fire, but you don't want to look over and help. You don't want to even call 911. It's like you see someone stuck in their vehicle, like something's bad on the side of the road happening. You don't want to stop and even help. You know what I'm saying? It's like you see things. You're driving, but you're tunnel vision. You're not even looking at the scene, what's happening around you. And when you don't look at the scene, what's happening around you, things that happen indirectly will eventually directly affect you. That's what people got to understand.
Yeah.
So somehow, some way, we have to figure out to step outside our lines, step outside our boundaries, step outside our comfort zone, and realize that what's happening out here is a part of us. Just because it ain't in your hood don't mean it ain't gonna soon affect you.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
That's real.
Those riots that happen, they'll come to your side sooner or later.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. You can't just try to ignore stuff.
Ignoring the bullshit that's going on in the government
just makes more bullshit.
it'll affect you soon. It's about to affect you. Let some bullshit happen with this net neutrality.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, it affects you now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Netflix isn't $9.99 anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, people just... we all just in the process of waking up, man.
Man, we've been waking up.
We've been waking up. But, I mean, there's been attempted setbacks.
We ain't getting out the bed.
You think so?
No, in some cases, some people, we're getting out of bed. There have been times in history when you had Black Wall Street. We had Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Look that up. And look what happened to it overnight. Years of building black power. And look what happened to it overnight. We've been woke. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? This whole woke thing now, yeah, it's good to wake up. Because I think there was a moment we were sleeping. Obama was in the White House. We were sleeping. Felt good. 8 years. Oh, we good. Brother man smooth. You know what I'm saying? This guy's good.
Mm-hmm.
So we laid back. How much Black Lives Matter was going on during that time period? We had people still dying in Chicago. We had people still dying in Compton. We had still people getting killed in Baltimore. We still had police brutality.
Yeah. I mean, but I'm saying waking up in terms of with ourselves, though, because all those things are still trying to tell white people. Why are we trying to tell white people that Black Lives Matter? We need to be talking to ourselves. Forget reaching to them for anything is what the point we got to get back to. And that's what Malcolm X was talking about and people of that ilk. And they call it black nationalism or whatever. I'm just saying, like, we have to be there for us. Yeah. We have to look out for us.
Yeah.
We have to do those things because you can't keep looking to somebody else expecting them to care more about you than you care about yourself. Yeah. Because it's not going to happen. And
we have to look out for ourselves because, once again, if you're living on the soil where slavery was praised, where slavery was legal, where slavery built this country, we got to look out for ourselves. Whether times are different or not, it wasn't but 100 years ago where certain things were legal against us. Mm-hmm. You have people, it wasn't just 80 years ago. My grandmother saw a KKK billboard in her town. My grandmother, she's still alive. Mm-hmm. Those KKK people that put that there, they had kids. Mm-hmm. Things trickle down. So if we want, in the trickle down effect, we have to learn how to look out for ourselves because at one point we were looked against. Mm-hmm. And it's no diss to nobody else, but it's about upbringing ourselves. We have to feel good to not whisper about issues in public. When we say white people, it's no diss. You're white. Now that I'm using quotations around that because you're not really white. I'm not really black. Yeah. That's how it's taught. It's no offense. Stop getting offended. Stop feeling affected by it. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
Let's talk about what's real. We're scared to talk about what's real. We'd rather just put our blinders on and speak about it in our comfort zones. Mm-hmm. But that's the issue. That's why I like doing this, having this platform. Mm-hmm. That's why I say it's not meant to be politically correct. Mm-hmm. It's poetically correct because as poets, we speak the truth what hurts. Mm-hmm. The thoughts and feelings. We have to talk about these issues because if we don't, then we're just closing our blinders. Yeah, it's good to talk about the Migos. Yeah, it's good to talk about car hits and break down music. But then we got to cut through the skin and we got to see that blood. Mm-hmm. Because that's the only way that's the only way we heal as people is you got to get a cut. You got to know what it feels like. And the bandage is what we've been putting on. We just put a Band-Aid over some things. But actually coming together is the stitching. We have to stitch. If this country is skin, and I feel like we can have tough skin as a country, then let's stitch ourselves. Let's understand the wound. Let's feel the wound. Let's feel that pain. Everybody got to feel that pain. And let's stitch it together. That sounds so simple. Yeah, let's stitch it together, right? But some people, you got to lose some people. Some blood is going to be lost. Mm-hmm. That's just how it is. Some will remain. Blood, you're going to lose blood. In other sense, you're going to lose people around you. That's what it is. You're going to lose friends, families, people of your own ilk. Mm-hmm. Black people.
Mm-hmm.
White people, you will lose your friends once you start talking a certain way, once you start moving away. Why? Because it makes them feel uncomfortable, because what they knew was right in their head, what they thought was right, is no longer right anymore. It's not. They're realizing because they know in their heart that this ain't. So you telling me this isn't right? You telling me I can't do this? Especially when you've been given the power of entitlement. Mm-hmm. That is something that white people just been fortunate. And don't feel bad. If I'm a white person, I'm taking that entitlement. Yes. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that entitlement to speak on shit. Like I'm glad you spoke on that. He's taking that entitlement and speaking on it. Yeah. Some people it'll click. Some people it won't. Mm-hmm. That's the life that you pass through in anything that you're moving and that you're progressing with. Some people it's gonna click with, some people won't, because you're pulling people out their comfort zone.
Absolutely.
So, how are we gonna pull people out their comfort zone? I want to pull people out their comfort zone by being able to go somewhere and tell you that, educate you on different things. Educate you on maybe why meat may not be healthy for you, or educate. I'm pinching somebody's skin. I'm pinching somebody's skin. I want to go and tell you why all that sugar may not be healthy. I want to go and tell you why it's cool to watch this kind of show, but it's even doper to cut some of that time down and actually look at some things that you can invest in. Mm-hmm. I want to make people feel uncomfortable that way. Yeah. You know, that's what I want to do. And I think that's what we have to, okay, how can I make somebody feel uncomfortable? It doesn't always have to be about race. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But it could be just anything, but we have to pull people out of their comfort zones of where we're at, because that's the only way we progress. And those things do lead down to race, because why? It's like this. It's like they always talk about the liquor stores in the hood, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, we got all these liquor stores in the hood. Why is that? That's a rhetorical question. Yeah. We ain't got to answer that. Just look it up. So we have to know how to pull people out. We have to just point to certain things and say, I want you to look at that. I want you to really look at that. And I want you to look at how it's directed to you. Mm-hmm. Look at that message and look how it's directed to you. Look who's spreading the message. Mm-hmm. Take away the obvious shit. Take away entertainment. Take away it being funny. Mm-hmm. Take away it being dramatic. Take away it being crazy. How is that message being directed to you? Who's directing that message to you? Why? Understand, why is that put there for you? Look at somebody else's platform. Is the same thing being brought to them? Because if it's not, then we got an issue. Mm-hmm. If I go to another neighborhood and they're not liquor stores all over their neighborhood, why is that? Mm-hmm. Why isn't there liquor stores all over their neighborhoods? Why isn't that? Tell me. Because in my area, I see this. Mm-hmm. So we got something going on here. If I go to another channel and I don't see all these drama shows, demographic a little different, and the people are a little different, why is that? Mm-hmm. Just don't take what's been given to you. Mm-hmm. And that's my whole point about I want to pinch some people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We just take what's given to us. Right. And not really understanding what it is.
Hell yeah, man. That was real. I feel
you.
Yeah. Wise words from poet.
Man, it's just...
That's where we at, man. That's what it is. We're going... And a lot of it, making people uncomfortable, a lot of it is just, first of all, doing it for yourself. You know what I mean? Because you can talk about meat and you can talk about those things because you first decided to take that journey for yourself. Mm-hmm. So before you try to speak on anything for anybody, you gotta just, you know, that's just gotta be already who you are and what you're already doing.
Right.
And it doesn't mean just shoving it down people's throat, but like you said, it's like natural moments. Like when I decided to become a vegan, you just reached out. You like, oh, I am too, and I felt like, okay, there's somebody else out here who does that. I felt like I wasn't just alone in that. You know what I
mean? Yeah.
So when stuff like that happens, it's like the opportunities kind of present themselves a lot of times.
Yeah, and just be educated, right?
Yeah.
Okay, boom, right there. Being vegan, why? Look up why it's happening. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look up why are people this way, or look up. I think in everything we need to know both sides. Mm-hmm. We need to know, why do people think this way? Why do people act this way? If we don't know why they're acting this way, then how can we truly judge or even understand what's going on? And how do we know it's not even better what they're on?
Yeah.
You know, I want to know what's popping. I want to know why you're doing that. You know.
So why do people stop asking why?
Because we think that we know. Because, well, we don't know what to ask.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you ask, why do we stop asking why? We don't know what to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Why should we ask? If I'm good, I'm good, right? That could be anything. And that's what I'm saying, pulling ourselves out of thinking we know so much.
Yeah.
We don't know anything. Like you life is about constantly learning. Like you have to learn different things.
Yeah.
Let's take, might as well stay on race. Why does a racist person need to know why police brutality is happening, right? It doesn't affect him.
Yeah.
So he's good. Yo, I was in a situation the other week. 3 white guys in the cop office. They were just talking sarcastic and shit to the cop. Mm-hmm. He's taking it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking like, this is funny right here. Yeah. This is actually funny right here.
Yeah.
They're just talking that way.
Yeah.
They're good, right?
Yeah.
Why are you good? I want to know, why are you good? I think we have to understand why things happen to us. Mm-hmm. But you have to seek the knowledge. And if we're not in a place of seeking any knowledge, I say the beauty of school is that from elementary, middle school, high school, and then college, you knew from elementary that there was going to be middle school. In middle school, you knew there was going to be high school. Mm-hmm. In college, you know there's going to be life. Mm-hmm. Life means get a job, have a family, have a career. Boom. Yeah. Everything's pretty much on you then. Mm-hmm. In those other areas, you had tests. You had to turn in work. You were kind of forced in a sense. Maybe some of you weren't and you failed and you flunked out. That's cool. You'll flunk out of life too. I failed a class. Mm. You know what I'm saying? Not saying you're gonna flunk out of life all the time, but you were in a system where you had responsibility. Mm-hmm. You had accountability. Mm-hmm. Once you get to life, there's no accountability anymore. It's just you. It's upon you. And I think that's what it means to really be adult, is accountability on self. Mm-hmm. Self-growth, self-knowledge, and self-empowerment. Mm-hmm. If you don't have none of those three, if you're not trying to grow yourself, if you're not trying to educate yourself, and if you're not trying to power yourself with wealth or anything, and empowerment covers all that. Yeah. But if you're not trying to do any of that, then you failed life. Mm. It's simple as that. You failed. Because what are you doing? That means you're just a vegetable. Word.
Yeah, that's true. I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
What else are you doing?
What else are you doing? And I'm not talking about you have to be something great and major. Don't take it to the highest degree. Take it to the degree that you can handle. Mm. Take it to just the degree of being 1% better. Yeah. If you're 1% better every day, 1% better just means taking time out to say, okay, I'm gonna create a budget on this day, or taking time out to say, I want to learn. I want to look at the news every day. Yeah. That's 1% better. You're more informed. I want to learn a word of the day. A word of the day, Ron. A word of the day. That's it. That's 1% better because now you know something new. That doesn't take but 1 minute. Yeah. 1 minute. But you spend 10 minutes on Instagram, 10 minutes on social media. It doesn't take but 1 minute to become 1% better. In a year, that's 365% better. Mm-hmm. 2 years, it builds. You do nothing but become better. Yep. You see what I'm saying? So I think as adults, I think younger kids, because I mentor, I see that creative eye in them. I see that want to be great in them. But then when it's really put in their hands to do something with, and the ball is in your hands, I played sports. Sometimes when the ball gets in your hand, it's on you to shoot that shot. Yeah. Or you're just going to pass it. Yeah. So, I mean, you ask why don't we want to know why? It's because that takes a lot of,
You know, children have a why phase. Why does the why phase stop for people?
Wow, where does it stop though?
That's a great question.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you're young, you just ask why is this? Why is that? Because we stop them. But then where do we stop? Where do we learn to stop them? Because I see parents all the time. Stop asking me all these questions.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you get mad.
Yeah.
Stop asking me this. Why? What is a problem? Why do you pay bills? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? It's cute. It's adorable.
Yeah.
But why do we stop? We get annoyed because we don't. But once again, it ties back. The questions get harder, Rome.
They do.
They get harder in life. To ask as a 5-year-old, why does it rain? Okay, well, you got the clouds, you got moisture, you know, you got different things going on, air, boom, blah, 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 yeah. Oh, okay. Why does my leg get bruised when I fall? Well, you got your skin, you got this, you got the impact, you got, you know, you get these different questions. Why does so-and-so, you get to high school, why doesn't so-and-so like you? You talk to your parents or whatever, but why doesn't so-and-so like me because I can drive and they don't? Well, because you got people who got jealous, envy, you got to teach them about that. Okay, then you get out of college. Why the questions get tougher? Mm-hmm. Why am I going through this kind of pain or something? You know, why can I find my job or this and that? It becomes more about, you know what? A lot of questions are us learning the system, which becomes harder. Why are my taxes higher on this and that? Oh, that requires a little bit more work. Why is but then you come in with self, right? Mm-hmm. Why don't I have that dream job yet? Well, it's inside. Or what are you doing to make those things happen? I think the questions get harder. They're not really hard, but they just require more work.
Yeah, I don't think it's as hard. I think is that the answer that you have to face gets tougher to sometimes. It's a face. Yeah, it's a face. Yeah. So it's like, what it takes to get that dream job ain't just, you know, it ain't like watching Saturday morning cartoons anymore. It's like, you gotta get out here. You gotta do this. You gotta that. You gotta learn how to do a business proposal. You gotta find a spot. You gotta, you know, do all these different things. You gotta budget.
And it's the truth. You know, I was writing the other day. I was like, I know the truth can be ugly, but if your soul is honest, then your beauty can never be stained.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
Because if your soul is really honest to want to know something, then you can't be stained.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If your soul, going back to race, because this ties in, it was subliminal to race. The truth of understanding who you are as a culture, who you are as a person, can be ugly. Mm-hmm. To know that I have a upper hand over you, that can be ugly for some people. Some people actually don't want to look at racism because they know the advantages that they have, and that can be ugly for them. Mm-hmm. They feel some kind of guilt. Mm-hmm. But if you're an honest person, if you're honest to who you are and to others, then your beauty of what you bring to the world can't be stained. Mm-hmm. Just admit it. Admit it. You know what I'm saying? You can't be stained if you're honest.
Yeah.
And if you admit your flaws, you admit the questions that we seek, and you want to grow, then you can't stain. You can't. So, the questions get tougher to face. 1,000%. I've had some questions this year that I've had to face.
Yeah.
This has been the most, I found a lot of clarity this year about towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
About who I am as a person, as far as just me. And it's been more of the lines of just my how I can come across sometimes people, how I can my ego sometimes. And when I have an ego, because I talk about my ego, because everybody talks about being humble, but we all have egos in certain areas, right? Mm-hmm. And my ego was always in the area of being experienced in certain things. Yeah. And certain things you just can't tell me. Now, I didn't say, shut up, don't talk to me. Yeah. But my head gets to a certain point, okay, I hear you. You know, I've seen things without actually, sometimes I said one time, we underestimate the power of asking questions. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I would just assume, because of my ego, they just don't get it. Yeah. Maybe they do get it, but they're from another point of view. Yeah. They get it a little deeper than what I'm going for. Mm-hmm. You know? So it's stepping outside of myself and realizing that, understand the cause and effect, what you're talking about. Understand why things happen, but how things happen on your end and how things happen on their end and how it kind of meshed together.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah, we got to face questions. It's tough, but we have to know what to ask. A lot of times we don't know what to ask. We don't even know how to ask it.
You remember that joint we were in here working on that one time?
Oh, the
play
why?
the beat?
Yeah.
It came full circle. I just remember that. We got to finish that
Yeah,
joint.
we do have to finish that. Yeah, we don't know what questions to ask, you know. But I think it has to do with life is real, and sometimes we get caught up in the sweet parts of life. We get caught up in the reality TV. We get caught up in the social media. We get caught up in the turn up. That's sweet part of life. The sour parts, some would say, is the work, is the education. Once you're out of school, you don't want to do all that anymore. You want just a sweet life. But there's a balance. It shouldn't even be a balance. It should be a little bit more sour than sweet. The sweet should be, it should be like the weekend. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It should be something that's kind of a treat just to have in life. But we should learn how to turn the sour parts into being sweet. We should learn how, kids at a young age, they don't want to look at politics, right? That's not natural. That's because we don't make it fun for them to watch. Right? We say, we just watch sports. They're always pushing to sports. That's fun. It's active. Yeah, it's active. It keeps the body going. You should be active as a young person. But when it comes to learning and being educated, we kind of, it's boring.
Yeah.
But you at the same time, content versus delivery, got to make it entertaining.
Yeah.
So I don't want to make this boring.
Hell no.
But we getting,
but we getting to it though.
Yeah, I think it's just some things that had to be talked about.
Yeah, it got to.
Any last thoughts, questions, confessions?
I don't know when we dropping this, but December 20th, Lawrence Shalair featuring at Release Therapy.
I'm gonna drop it tomorrow.
Okay, so December 20th, everybody come out to Red at 28th in the University area, 8:30 p.m. Open mic. You can sign up.
That's this week.
Yes, this week.
Oh, okay.
Lawrence Shalair gonna be the feature. You got any events coming up?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Glad you said Tuesday, because I'm gonna put this out on Monday. So Tuesday, I'm at Mooney's Lounge.
Word.
Yeah, so that should be fresh. You ever did anything in Mooney's Lounge?
Nah, you doing lounges and stuff, bro?
Yeah,
That's what's up.
Yeah,
that'll be smooth.
Yeah, it's a late ass show.
Damn, I hate that on a weekday. Damn, what time, bro?
Like 11:30, 12. That shit late as hell, man. But I'm a rock out. It's gonna be kind of fun.
Yeah,
it's a grown and sexy environment. Yo, you know what I'm hype about now?
What though?
I'm creating content now. I'm so happy that I wasn't like I was able to not do anything for perform for like a month.
Yeah,
I was able to create some content that I have. My catalog is various now.
Okay.
I think that's I'm proud
to
say I have a piece that's inspirational. I can do that doesn't talk about race or doesn't talk about love.
Yeah.
It just talks about self and uplifting self.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's kind of flying cool. I'm glad I have glad I have some new love pieces that I can do. Mm-hmm. I'm glad I have some new just black empowerment pieces that I can do. I love being able to take time just to create. Sometimes we get caught up as artists because people are excited about the work we do. They want us to perform here, and we can get such on a schedule where we lose time to actually create.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to stop everything, just say I'm not doing anything right now. I'm in the creating phase, and shit, just create, yo.
Okay.
Shit, I'm hyped.
2018,
I'm hitting the scene, bro.
Yeah, let's get it.
January and February,
we out here.
I'm out here.
Yes.
Yeah, man. But hold on. That's how we gotta do. You know how we gotta do this thing.
Man, I
you wanna do the same beat?
Let's switch it up. What else you got?
I don't know.
It might be easier to just play the same. What you think? Man, so I just want to give a PSA to everybody. The holidays are coming up. If you ain't use your vacation time at work, go and put that in now. Take off that week right after Christmas, going into New Year's. Your job probably not going to trip. That's what I'm doing. I'm just saying. If you live in that poetic Lee life and, you got your own entrepreneurial thing going on, you make your own schedule. So that's the goal.
That's your PSA?
But if you're not there, use your vacation time because they will take it from your ass.
Oh, that's actually a good PSA. I just realized you're right.
Yeah.
Use that vacation time.
They will take it.
But as we come to the close of the podcast.
Uh-oh.
You know how we got to do this thing.
Let's do it.
We both put ourselves out here.
Yes.
To get on the mic.
We out here.
To talk.
Yes.
To get right.
We got to
drop these bars. Always. I don't know if yours are written all the time because they come off like you got that heat already stashed.
Nah, I be freestyling.
You be freestyling for real?
Yeah.
You be freestyling for real?
Yeah.
Where you at then?
It's different. I never heard this beat before.
Where you at then? Can you hear yourself?
I can hear myself.
Okay.
I got my levels straight. You know what I mean? This might not be like Black Thought at Hot 97, but I'm going to try.
Yeah. It's about to come.
It sounds smooth, bro. This is Joe Budden?
Yeah, where you at?
Shout out Joseph Budden.
Let's go.
Yeah. He asked if this was freestyle. Meanwhile, I'm running it like the Green Mile. See now, these old heads, they listen close. I spit it off the top, got them on their tippy toes. This that give and go, never spit it so difficult. When I spit, it's like 99 Mr. Cole. Rome the Carlo, I spitted it off the top. Poetically, yeah, he hot. Guarantee we about to rock. Yeah. I'm just rapping on this button beat. Every time I spit it, I'm ripping it so suddenly. Under me, every rapper that I did grades for. I just go hard, guaranteed, you know I pay more than these other rappers. Going hard in the rafters. They hanging jerseys up top like I play for the Raptors and I live in Toronto. Ripping it on the pronto. Rome the Carlo, they call me the head honcho. Yo, wear a poncho, cause I'ma make it rain for real. Every time I spit it, guaranteed I bring that flame for real. You know the deal, I'm spitting it so real. I'm just trying to get hard, I'm killing it so for real. Like I bring that candy rain, these niggas can't handle this. When I spit it off the top, guaranteed I dismantle this. Yeah, so catch the flow though, spit it like Acapulco. I get my ring, call me Frodo. Yeah.
He get his ring, call him Frodo.
Yeah.
That was slick. Okay. Yeah. You see, I entered the game just writing about pain, but now they know my name as the one that can bring, make you, hold on. Okay, let me restart that. Okay. Yeah.
Bring it back.
The beat
they got
switched
smooth.
Yeah, hold on.
They got real smooth right there.
I got that was like the bridge for me to come through it. I wasn't supposed to come on that other part. That was your territory.
Is this just Blaze? I feel like it's just Blaze.
It sound like a just Blaze, don't it?
Yeah.
It sounds smooth. Hold on. All right. I like when it's just that little
Young Lee, the MC. Did you have a rap name?
I did actually. Hold on. But I came into the game just writing about pain in my life. It was insane. My mama was on her brain trying to lose it, really just trying to groove it. I'm just trying to put it together. My life was kind of on a nuisance, really on a noose. I was hanging by a thread. Really now I'm no strings attached. I'm hanging by this bread that I'm trying to grab, trying to raise this toast to the sky. Same place that my eye rolls to whenever Murphy Law tries to stroll through. But you can't touch me now. I'm something like a blaze that even the arsonist sits in the maze. Goddamn, I'm in the maze, but I graze through my own grass. You could just sit on your own ass. And me, I'm gonna make this cash. Me, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to be last. No, I'm not saying be last. I'm just gonna make it last forever. And yes, me, I'm kind of like the sweater that keeps you warm. Yeah, I'm that hot. Yes, I'm this fresh. I'm that pot that you cooking with. Yes, I'm cooking grits. Yeah, this is something that girls love in the South, cause girls raised in the South are the best. Yo, don't test me, bro, cause I'ma bust your bubble. Yes, like the test beat. No, I come through that correctly. Yes, poetically. Speaking on poetically correct, B.
Hey, right when the beat ended.
But that's how we do it. And this is Poetically Correct with Rome DiCarlo. Follow him on Instagram, Rome DiCarlo.
Yeah. Follow Poetically, Poeticlee. We out here.
Okay, and that's a
wrap. Follow The Poetically Correct on Instagram as well.
Yes, The Poetic, because there was already a Poetically Correct. So
damn.
Yeah, I know they're whack for that. But The Poetically Correct. Follow that. And just like the lights and the sound, we're out.
Peace.